In this video we will discuss some of the additional features of ER model. The entities of an entity type E1, E2, E3 and E4 can be divided further into subgroupings or subtypes. For example, the members of the employee entity type can be distinguished further into engineer, secretary, manager, technician, salaried employee, hourly employee, and so on. Every entity that is a member of these subgroupings is also an employee. These subgroupings are called a subclass or subtype of the employee entity type. The employee entity type is called the superclass or supertype for each of these subclasses. A superclass-subclass relationship is a relationship between a superclass and any one of its subclasses. It is also called as a supertype-subtype, or class-subclass relationship. The relationship between a subclass and its superclass is called as a subclass of relationship, or is a relationship. The member in a subclass is same as the member in the superclass but in a distinct specific role. For example, the entity Bill is an engineer and is also an employee. If an entity is a member of a subclass, it must also be a member of the superclass. However, it is not necessary that every entity in a superclass is a member of some subclass. Another important concept, associated with subclasses, is inheritance. An entity that is a member of a subclass inherits all the attributes of the entity as a member of the superclass. The entity also inherits all the relationships that the superclass participates in. Specialization is the process of defining subclasses for an entity type based on its characteristics of the entities. The entity type is called the superclass of the specialization. These concepts are displayed using enhanced ER diagrams. For example, the employee entity can be distinguished based on the job type as engineer, secretary and technician. This set of subclasses engineer, secretary, technician is a specialization of the superclass employee. We can have several specializations for the same entity type based on different distinguishing characteristics. For example, if we distinguish based on the method of pay, then we can define another specialization of the employee entity type as salaried employee, hourly employee. The enhanced entity relational diagram for the employee will be shown as follows. Attributes that belong solely to entities of a particular subclass, like typing speed of secretary, are attached to the rectangle representing that subclass. These are called specific or local attributes of the subclass. Here, D represents a disjoint constraint. It will be discussed in the next lectures. Generalization is the process of suppressing the differences among several entity types, identify their common features, and generalize them into a single superclass. It's a reverse process of specialization. For example, consider the entity types car and truck. The two will have several common attributes like vehicle number, price and license number. So, we can generalize them into an entity type vehicle. Both car and truck are now subclasses of the generalized superclass, vehicle. The enhanced ER diagram for the vehicle superclass will be shown as follows. In this video we have discussed about additional features, specialization, and generalization of ER model.